Hey, welcome back to the Victory 4x4 Garage. My name is Daryl. Today I'm going to show you how to install our mid-size truck rack. Now I'm going to show you how to install it on this 3rd Gen Toyota Tacoma, and these instructions will directly relate to the 2nd Gen Tacoma as well. But we're continually adding brackets to add these to more trucks. So check on the website and check on the installation instructions to see if this mid-size rack will fit your truck. But for right now, we're going to install it on the Tacoma. Let's get started. All right, for the Tacoma, we're going to give you 4 of these little brackets right here and 8 carriage bolts. How you install these is you put the carriage bolts through the back of the bracket. If you have the plastic end caps here on your rail, go ahead and remove those. Then you just slide these brackets into the rail. You may have to wiggle it around just a little bit to get it past the mounting bolts on your factory rail, but they will actually slide past. You're going to install 1 on each side in the back and 1 on each side in the front for a total of 4 brackets. A quick note on these brackets. If you're installing a tonneau cover, you might want to install their brackets first, especially if they go inside of our brackets. You may not have access to get these in, so look at the installation instructions for your tonneau cover and see how that installs before you install these brackets. All right, now we're going to loosely assemble the rack. We're going to start with the front. So the front portions look like this, straight up and down sides with this little kickback right here. This little kickback goes towards the back of the vehicle. So we're just going to use the tailgate here. We're going to grab both sides of the uprights and we're going to grab 1 of the crossbars. You can tell the crossbars because they're open on the end. And then we're just going to loosely bolt this all together using the hardware that we provide. These are 5/16 Allen bolts. We're going to put a washer on the inside and then back that with a flange nut. And that washer is going to help the flange nut, it's going to help keep the flange nut from tearing into the finish. So let's get started on assembling this and just leave everything loose. We'll pick it up, put it in place, and then we'll bolt everything on before we tighten any bolt on the rack itself. Okay, now that this is loosely assembled, we're going to go ahead and bolt it in, slide it over the studs on the brackets that you installed earlier. If everything's loose, it should be no problem for you to flex this over those studs. Just like that, and then loosely put another washer and flange nut over the studs that you installed in the rails earlier. Tighter than that. Once you have those loose, you can go ahead and push this whole front system basically right up flush with the front of the bed, and we can adjust that later. All right, now repeat this exact process on the rear uprights and rear crossbar. Okay, once you get the rear setup assembled, you're going to install that just like you did the front with these angled portions pointing towards the back. All right, now we're going to give you 4 of these little 1/8" spacers here, and these are going to use just depending on your individual truck. If you're not running our Molly panels, you're probably going to use them on both sides on the 3rd Gen and 2nd Gen trucks, but if you are running our Molly panels, it's going to space this rail out about 1/8 of an inch, so you won't need these. It really just depends on if these brackets sit flush on the top cap of your truck or not, so you may or may not need these. All right, now with everything still loose so we can move these back and forth a little bit, we're going to install these side portions here. And these are going to get 2 bolts in the front and 2 bolts in the back. It's easier if you have someone to help you, but I don't right now, so I'll just do it myself. I'll go ahead and install the bolt first, and then there's tons of mounting options for heights on the side here. We're going to kind of go in the lower middle one there, and then we'll grab another bolt for the front and match that up. Once you get these on, go ahead and install washers and nuts on the opposite side, and you just loosely tighten those nuts and go to the other side. Do the same exact process. All right, now it's time to install these front to rear top bars, and they install just like the side bars do. There's lots of mounting options here on the rack for them, so we're just going to go ahead and bolt those in. And I got to interject something really fast. A lot of people, Brian included, think that I wear a fanny pack. And it's not a fanny pack. It's a Mountain Smith adventure pack. There's a huge difference. And the great part about installs like this, I can keep lots of things in it, like this delicious beer. I'm going to save that for later. I can keep all my tools in here, but most especially, I can keep my nuts in my satchel here. So I'm going to grab some bolts and nuts out of my satchel, and we're going to go ahead and get these bars installed. So just like everything else, we're going to loosely install these crossbars, and then we'll tighten everything up once everything is installed. It's actually really handy. All right, now it's time to tighten everything up. And I like to start up here with these top bars if you install them. And the best thing to do here is to make sure that they are level with the face of the opposing bars. And then use a 3/16 either T-handle or a socket there, and a 1/2 inch. The speed wrench works good, or just a regular box end wrench in here, and go ahead and tighten them up. All right, once you tighten these top bars down, you're going to want to move out to these connections right here, the crossbars to the uprights. There's a couple things you want to look for. You want to make sure that these uprights are the same angle from the back, and you also want to measure here and make sure that they're the same distance of gap here on each side. So I got 1 1/4 here and 1 1/4 there. So once that is all squared up and ready, you also kind of want to make sure that the top of these connectors here are parallel with the top of the bar. Once that's all done, you can go ahead and bolt the front and rear crossbars together. All right, once you get the top tightened, go ahead and tighten your side rails here. Once you get those side rails tight, you can figure out where you want this rack front to back. I kind of like to put it right here on the very edge of the rail with the edge of our bracket. Once you get that figured out, you can go ahead and tighten down these flange nuts and your rack's installed. All right, that's it. See how easy to install? It's like a big kid erector set. Once you get that thing tightened down, you can go ahead and install some of our mounts. We have mounts for bicycles, kayaks, spare tires, tread boards, high lift jacks, whatever you can think of. Go onto those individual product pages and there'll be a brief overview on how to mount those things. If you have any questions about this product or any of our products here, feel free to reach out via email at info@victory4x4.com or on the phone at 269-459-8447. Thanks so much for being part of the Victory 4x4 family. We'll talk to you soon.